Proverbs 19:21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." This verse came alive for us when we realized God was clearly saying no to our prayer. Just a little background. My wife and I were both from the Philippines, and like most Filipinos, we grew up Catholic. 8 years into our marriage and children later, life started to become harder and harder to sustain in the Philippines, so I had to work abroad. I left the Philippines in March 2001. Just a couple months after my fifth child was born, my family stayed behind. We had no idea that the physical separation would be used by God to draw us closer to Him. Separately, but at the same time, God started bringing people into our lives that introduced us into a different level of relationship with Him. Something that was not even possible if we were physically together. In September 2001, 6 months after I left, I went back to the Philippines to take my family with me to live in South Carolina permanently, or so I thought. We started our new life, very new in the Christian way. Life was easy and comfortable. Life was so good that we did not even notice that we were not growing in our faith. In fact, we were drifting away. Little did we know that God was about to change the directions of our lives. Only 20 months after I uprooted my family from the Philippines, I lost my job. Just like that. I was devastated to say the least. However, I was determined to find a new job in South Carolina. But somehow, something always happened that I always ended up not getting the job. My wife and I started to feel desperate, worried about our family's future, both wondering when the answer to our prayer for a job will come true. Is it not written in the Bible? Ask and you shall receive. Don't get me wrong. While God was saying no to our specific prayer for a job in South Carolina or any U.S. state for that matter, He was very present in making sure our basic needs were met. He sent people with big hearts that help us financially. People that showered our kids with gifts, especially during Christmas seasons when we couldn't provide them with anything. It was hard to take help from people, but pride was one thing that God wanted us to let go. We felt God's presence during this very low point, but somehow we couldn't understand why a job offer that was so easy for Him to provide just won't come. One thing I am thankful for is that marriage and faith thrived during this very low point. We relied on God and on each other. Many months later, our savings gone, credit card debts balloon, and still no job offer. Deep inside our hearts, we knew it was easy for God to send a job if He wanted to. The fact that He was not sending any made us think, what could God be saying? God placed in our hearts to just let Him be God. Our prayer changed from wanting desperately a job in South Carolina to, we leave it up to you, Lord. You promise you will never leave us nor forsake us. It was very painful prayer to pray because we knew God might send us somewhere we did not want to go. We even prepared to go back to the Philippines in case that's where God wanted us to go next. But God sent people and changed situations that changed our plan. As we waited, I took a non-IT jobs like delivering food. My wife did some food catering too, just to get by. But we knew to trust God's plan, and we waited patiently and confident of His promises. He has proven that He will not leave us in times of troubles. The seasons of no lasted 3 years. And somewhere in the middle of it, God sent people that pointed us to the possibility of migrating to Canada. Of course, we didn't know if that was the direction from God, but we knew He was more than able to block it if that wasn't, or open doors if that was His. And as you have probably guessed, God opened doors that enabled the move to be as spotless as it could be. Yes, God says no, but it doesn't mean He goes away. Because while he was saying no to our specific prayer, he never once left us. I once read, God's no to our prayers is always a yes to his providential purposes. So if anyone here is experiencing a no from God, the more you need to hold on to his promises because God is faithful. His plans are way better than ours. God bless you all.